Morning in the ashram. Just another morning, no different from any other. The night was difficult, like so many before it. Not everyone is awake yet. Only the roosters wander through the yard. Perfect order is everywhere. It is the result of the monk's discipline and the extraordinary dedication of the master. Almost everything rests on his shoulders, and he carries this service without hesitation. He never complains, and I have never seen displeasure on his face. In all of this, I keep recognizing my guru. Sometimes it feels like it's the same soul, or the same energy. Swami G is still sleeping. In the past day, he has had only 2 hours of rest. Lakshmi gently wakes him, as she does every morning, like a loving woman. Swami G quickly gets up and goes to the backyard to cut grass for his animals. It's not easy. The grass is short and there isn't much of it. One of the monks joins him to help. Who is this Agori guru? He was born into a family with 3 brothers and 1 sister. Both his parents come from a long line of gurus. Vamsha Parampara is an unbroken family lineage of teachers passed down from generation to generation. And he is the last one in that line. He is no ordinary man, and his birth was far from ordinary. When his mother's labor began, she was being taken on a bullock cart. They were passing by the Mahadeshwar temple. It was the sacred night of Mahashivaratri. Suddenly, a large snake crawled onto the road and blocked their way. At that moment, the mother gave birth to a stillborn son, but a little later the child suddenly began to breathe, surprising everyone around. For the first 7 days, while his mother was nursing him, a large male snake Nagraj came to their house every day. On the 8th day, a guru came to take the child as his disciple. It is hard to imagine what the mother felt as she gave her son away, but this was the vow of the family. The boy lived with his teacher in the jungle. The guru made a small hammock from a sari and fed him cow's milk. And once again, the same snake came to him every day. It became the first true friend of the young Swami. They often slept together and played. But time passed. When the boy turned 7, he kissed the snake during their play, and it fell asleep in his hands. It happened on the night of Mahashvaratri. The guru said that Nagraj had left this world. Swami cried for his first friend he had lost. He made a box for him out of bilva wood, placed the snake inside, and following his teacher's instructions, performed puja for it every day, offering flowers, milk, turmeric rice, and incense. A year and a half later, he opened the box by chance and saw that it was empty. The guru said, "Rejoice, your heart holds great devotion and inner strength." The snake found liberation through love. This is a rare sign. At the age of 48, this power will fully awaken in you. As a child, Swamiji did not play with other children. Ordinary games did not interest him. Instead, he made small clay figures of Shiva and Parvati, Ganesh and Kartikeya, performed puja for them, and offered food. The snake was always by his side. Other children laughed at him and teased him, but Swami was truly happy in the Gurukul. And now, when he remembers those years, tears of joy come to his eyes. When Swamiji turned 19, his guru left for Kailash and said that he would not return. He passed on to his disciple the deep knowledge of the ancient scriptures. Swamiji studied the Mahabharata, the Puranas, and many other secret texts revealed only to chosen students. The next stage of his training took place in Assam, in an Agori sanctuary. There he received 3 initiations: into the left-hand path of Tantra, into the first level of Aghora, and the highest Agori Diksha. Every morning after his bath, Swamiji applies vibhuti to his forehead and eyes, sacred ash from 5 cremation grounds. When I asked why the eyes, he replied, "It is drishti, spiritual vision." In Tantra, drishti means the ability to see beyond the surface. The ash clears the eyes from illusion and helps one see the world as Shiva sees it, without fear, attachment or judgment. Swamiji said that it is in the eyes that dislike, desire, anger and the criticism are born. This ash helps one see the true nature of a person, the inner light that exists in everyone. The Agori say, when there is ash on the eyes, you see truth, not the world or the mind. The red dots on the sides represent the three great energies of the Divine Mother, Maa Kali, Mahalakshmi and Mahasaraswati. The larger dot in the center is Adi Shakti, the primal power of the universe. There is a deep meaning in this daily ritual. It gently leads one into a subtle meditative state. Swamiji knows this, so he does not hurry. The younger disciple is patient as well. He tries to catch every movement of his teacher. The hard work of the students and their endurance are impressive. When we first came here with the group, we brought many sweets and chocolates. I saw the younger disciple almost drooling, yet there was great discipline in his eyes.
What does it mean, this you put around eyes?
But Swamiji did not give him a single sweet. He calmly told them to take everything to the kitchen. We stood there in quiet, confused shock. The teacher spoke about his training in Assam, a brutal school that pushed him far beyond human limits. Many people ask whether he ever ate human flesh. He never denied it, but he explained that it was prasad, tiny pieces wrapped into dough, part of a sacred ritual. At the same time, he understands how this may look from the outside, but Swamiji explains that he did it only for Ma and under her guidance. For him, it was a radical act meant to destroy disgust, because disgust is nothing but another phase of ego and pride. This ascetic trial lasted for 11 years. Not everyone can walk such a path for Ma, but even this was not the hardest part. Suffering in training continues as long as it still affects the disciple, but when a person stops reacting, when silence appears inside, the pain ends, and the Guru declares that power has been gained. You may ask, why is this needed? The answer is simple. This power is not for display. It is meant for fighting the demons that torment people. Agori are not just servants, they are warriors. At Ma's request, they enter the battle to free a person from invisible bondage. That is why so many people come to the ashram for help. You may ask, do they commit evil? Yes, just like in any society, there are different people among them, the good and the bad. But tell me, are you so sure you are righteous? Swamiji says, the moment an Agori does something truly horrible, Ma will take away his power or even his life. It amazes me how quickly people of different religions, Christians, Muslims, Krishna devotees and others rush to judge Aghora and the Agoris. They forget that the Agoris are true warriors of the Lord, warriors of Maa Kali. They do not spare themselves and walk into the darkness to protect Dharma and the divine law, giving people freedom from the shadows. They go into the deepest part of the darkness to carry out their mission. And if Ma asks them to give their own life, they will do it without hesitation, even with joy in their heart, as long as her will is fulfilled. But tell me honestly, who among us is ready for that? Swamiji said that the place where the ashram now stands was not chosen by people. Both Ma and his guru pointed exactly to the spot. Back then there was nothing here. For the first years they lived in simple cloth shelters. These metal huts appeared only recently. In the beginning the path was not easy. People from the nearby village came angry, threatened him and said that one day they would kill him. One day Ma warned him, 2 men will come today, go out to meet them. And when he stepped outside the gate, he saw 2 men sitting under a tree, exhausted and frightened, and besides them lay a gun. Later, they said that a woman, an old lady in a torn dark sari, as if made of smoke, appeared in front of them. She grabbed them by the hair and threw them away from the ashram gate. At that moment, Swami G understood. It was Navatri herself. He gave them water and the men fell at his feet. Guruji said there were several incidents like this, but Ma always protected this place herself. Ma protects Swami G and those around him even far from the ashram. Once they were traveling to Assam for the festival of Maa Kamakhya. In the jeep between the seats stood a large murti of Ma, always with them. On the way, Swamiji asked the driver to stop by the water so he could take a bath and perform a puja, but the driver was in a hurry and waved it off. Later, now it's not the time. A few minutes later, time was over. A car suddenly came at them. The jeep went off the road, flipping several times in the air. The body of the car was crushed. There was no way to survive. But when the car hit the ground, a miracle happened. Neither Swami G nor anyone else had a single scratch. They all walked out unharmed, as if invisible force had protected them. The murti of Maa Kamakhya stood in its place, without even moving. When the police and medics arrived, they kept asking, "Where are the bodies? How could everyone survive?" Swamiji said, "Maa Kamakhya herself held us inside that car." In memory of this miracle, he had a tattoo of her image made on his arm.
Today.
There are special days when Ma's power is especially strong. Navatri is 9 sacred nights dedicated to Devi. During this time, Ma reveals herself in the form of Vamacharini. At such times, the energy of the Agori appears, the feminine Shakti known here as Priyanka, and it is then that the Agori sadhus perform a rare Tantric practice. For this ritual, they use the skull of a 32-year-old woman, a vessel of her Shakti. It is covered with a kumkum, the sacred red powder, and lemons are placed inside to keep the prana stable and prevent it from dispersing. Swamiji explained that this is Mahatantra sadhana, performed only on the Smashan, where the boundaries between worlds are especially thin. When a person is tormented by a demon, the Agori turns to his Priyanka, asking her to pull the shadow out of the subtle body and place it into the Ma's hands. Ma receives the spirit into the yagya, as if into her own mouth, and in doing so frees the person from darkness, giving them peace again. We all have days when we don't know what to do, when we can't even explain what is happening, when reality suddenly goes beyond logic, and the only word for it is mystical. In such moments, the mind is no help anymore, and then, unsure, doubtful, or even desperate, we start looking for help from God. And here I want to ask one uncomfortable question. Are you sure that God has a male face? What if it is Shakti, the feminine nature, the feminine power that flows through all existence? The mother gives birth to the future supported by masculine energy, and sometimes even without it. And then the idea of immaculate conception stops being a myth and becomes a question for science. The monkeys here are not just animals, they are a real criminal gang. For several weeks they terrorized the ashram, breaking into the temple, stealing the prasad and leaving total chaos behind. In the end, Swamiji asked Ma for advice and realized the monkeys had to be caught and taught a lesson to stop the destruction. He took on their education himself and believes they might change one day. When he lets them go, they will most likely run far away, and maybe they will never raid temples again. Every day in the ashram begins and ends in the same place, the kitchen. It's not just where the food is made, it's where all illusions about hygiene die and humility is born. Here you'll find smoke, spices, fire, people, pots, and mice. Yes, mice are the official residents here. And honestly, thank God it's mice, because if they weren't here, the snakes would be. And I'm definitely not ready for that level of spirituality yet. You already know my spiritual friend, the one who meditates in my hair in the mornings. Well, he shows up here too, sometimes even at night. He especially loves waking people up by dramatically flipping pots with a loud crash. Enlightenment should be unexpected. Morning in the ashram is not good morning. It's you survived, congratulations. I often woke up not from an alarm, but from the smell of masala slowly crawling into my room. Masala is a very gentle mix of onion, garlic and chili, all blended together and fried over an open flame. And you don't wake up because you slept well. You wake up because you're starting to choke. Shubhodaya! Even the cooks themselves don't seem able to get used to it. They cry, cough, choke, wipe their tears, but they never change their recipes. Never. You are not allowed to drink water in the kitchen. It's considered an offense to Ma Annapurna, the mother who gives food. So if you walk into the kitchen, your throat goes dry and you feel like you're about to faint, guess what? That's the practice. Accept it. Most of the cooking is done by the boys, serious and focused, as if they're running the universe. But everyone helps, men and women alike. Someone cuts, someone steers, someone washes, and someone just adds to the sense of a great process. The main thing is to be useful, at least morally. The food here is very simple: rice donated by local families, a few vegetables, and that's it. Sometimes it feels like this isn't food, but a stomach endurance test. Everything is extremely spicy. You cry, you sweat, you pray, and then you thank Ma for cleansing your karma through your stomach. In the ashram, men eat first, then women. Shared meals are rare, so when men and women suddenly eat together, it feels like celebration, almost like a wedding, just without the gifts.
No, don't say no to
Meat is rare here, and only as prasad after rituals. Usually everyone eats twice a day. Sometimes the body protests, but the spirit, strangely enough, is satisfied. All food here is prasad. First it's offered to the mother, and only then does it become just food. Even Swamiji's meals are not about pleasure or long sitting. He always eats very quickly, never wasting a minute, because service is his first priority. People are waiting for him all the time. So food is just a short pause, and then he returns to service. When he feeds someone by hand, he gives more than food, he gives power. It's a blessing you feel not on your tongue, but somewhere deeper. Although the tongue, of course, is also in shock. Here, food is not about taste, it's about discipline, about humility, about service, about fiery spices, about mice, and of course, about Ma. In the ashram, everything is always simple, until suddenly it is not. For example, making coffee. It was 5 in the morning. No one had really slept, and it was still far too early to pretend we were awake. We went to the kitchen, but the gas stubbornly refused to ignite. After a few attempts, Swamiji said, "All right, Ma will help us now. Chalo." I was sure we were going to the backyard to start a fire, but instead we ended up in the temple, by the Yagna Kund, where Mother's fire never goes out. Guruji set the pot on fire and began stirring the coffee with a masked trident. Yes, the very one that is usually not used for things like coffee. The drink turned out divine, and I realized in Ma's ashram even making coffee becomes a ritual. He came from Tamil Nadu and almost immediately asked for a mantra for Varahi Devi. Her mantras are not chanted for wishes. They are invoked when someone stronger must stand between you and death. Ma Varahi does not protect gently. She blocks the path of danger, even if she must break your old life to do it. But Swami G does not give a mantra at the first request. He watches first, he tests, sometimes for a long time, sometimes harshly, and from that moment on, the real trial of the disciple begins. He lived under the open sky and slept at the construction site. He did any work he was given, for months, with no promises, no guarantees, and all the time Swamiji was watching him. Only after a few months he did receive a single mantra, and even that was not a diksha, not an initiation. Then I understood why so many people think that becoming an Agori is easy. Stay in an ashram for a while, chant a Kali mantra, visit the Smashan a few times, and imagine yourself transformed. Here no one gets anything just like that. Here everything must be lived through. Varahi Devi is not just protection. She is the force that stands between you and death, the Shakti that steps out first. She is the living guard of the mother. Swami G said that when he received the main murti of Maa Kali for the temple, she spoke to him immediately. Call for my security, Varahi Devi. Because Kali destroys worlds, and Varahi is the guard for those who are not meant to live yet. Swamiji told how he went through one of his guru's hardest tests, Agni Tapasya, the trial by fire. It is a form of fire austerity in which a person remains completely still while surrounded by fire or seated directly upon it. This practice is not done for power. It is meant to burn old karma and shed the weight you carry. It tests whether you are ready to go further. The initiative almost never comes from the student. The decision is made by the guru, and taking responsibility for the consequences is also part of the path. I asked Swamiji to share what he gained from this trial, and he did. When we perform puja to God, the sacred energy awakened by the ritual enters our body. When Shakti is inside the body, fire can no longer cause harm. It touches only the ground, not the person. But if there is rot inside, bad thoughts, a twisted mind, old karma, the fire starts to consume. Burns follow. The body is the first to reveal what you try to hide. If a person carries tantric damage or foreign influences, the fire shows that too. It does not burn to cause pain, it burns to cleanse. And when the fire passes through the body, the heat carries away the suffering, the problems, and the dark habits that once lived inside. This is not punishment, it's a God's test. It's the place of His grace. But divine mercy is not given to everyone. And because we walk the path of Vamachara, under the protection of Smashan Kali, no dark force can touch us. If the fire still burns you, it means God has decided to test you deeper. The Lord always tests His own. He looks to see whether there is strength in you or only fear. And when a person leaves everything behind and steps into the fire, then God is truly pleased.
Girl? Mother. Which part is it? Oi.
Many people call Agoris black magicians. That label stuck to them long ago, born from fear, rumors, and a lack of understanding of their tradition. People think Agoris perform dark rituals and cause harm, but it's the opposite. In reality, people who have been harmed by black magic come to them for help. Agoris are not the source of the suffering, they are the ones who remove it. They are the last place people turn to when no one else can help. When doctors find no cause, when a person's mind shifts in a way no one can explain, and they stop resembling themselves. I have seen it with my own eyes. People arriving here broken, frightened, completely lost. And after the rituals and the work done with them, I watch them slowly find themselves again. I can't explain this scientifically. I can only speak about what I witnessed. People arrived in the terrible condition, and they left as different people. What looked frightening and dark from outside, Aghora, the Smashan, human bones, becomes for some the last chance to escape madness, pain, and outside influence. There is a strange paradox in the spiritual world. Often the loudest judgment comes not from those far from God, but from those who speak about Him the most. When I came to the Agori ashram, people from my own spiritual family were quick to accuse me of betrayal. Those who speak so much about love, faith, and devotion, yet somehow choose judgment first. Not dialogue, not understanding, not compassion. They thought they knew everything before seeing anything. They judged right away without asking a single question. For them, spiritual life is made of borders, labels, and the fear of stepping beyond what is familiar. But the truth was very simple. In Swami G, I saw what I had seen only in my Guru before. The same purity, the same devotion, the same depth of service. As if Swami became a mirror of my Guru, a reminder that true spirituality does not depend on clothing, sampradaya, or titles. This is what called me here. Not exotic things and not the dark side as people like to think, but a love that you cannot mistake for anything else. Something you cannot explain, but you feel it instantly. Swamiji has never judged anyone, not Vaishnavas, not Shaivites, not Tantrics. He does not argue, does not compare, does not compete. He simply serves the Mother, quietly, deeply, and truly. And those who accuse me forgot the most important thing. God is not someone's private property, and the path is not a territory fenced off by rules. They give lectures about humility, yet they rush to judgment faster than to prayer. They speak about love, yet often cannot recognize it when it stands right in front of them. Here, among the Agoris, no one asks who my Guru is or which sampradaya I belong to. Here they look only at what is inside. Is there love? Is there truth? Is there fire? If someone sees this as betrayal, so be it. It's better to betray someone else's expectation than to betray the call of your own heart. This film was created to help build the ashram for an Agori guru, a man of an extraordinary soul. But even that was not the real trigger. Ma invited our group into her home. She revealed to us what has been hidden from the most of the world, and like a true mother, she embraced us all. That moment became our greatest joy. We witnessed a kind of love we had never known before, and it was she who asked us to create this project, to show people how profoundly they misunderstand the true nature of this world. They have forgotten how to love the Divine Mother. Pride has twisted their minds, making them see only horrible images. To such eyes, even the Mother looks terrifying. But those who truly love her see her as a beautiful young woman, and she never leaves them. She stays close, helping them through every difficult moment. Our eyes have gone blind in the chase for material gain. We no longer recognize the truth. We have turned savage, like dogs staring at human flesh on the Smashan. And the most disgusting thing of all is how quickly we rush to judge what we do not understand.